Okay, picture this. You're a manager, and you just got last quarter's report. Profits are through the roof. Your team is pumped, you're celebrating a huge win. And then an email lands in your inbox from the top brass. Effective immediately, we're instituting a company-wide spending freeze. You're just confused, maybe even a little ticked off. And now your team is looking at you with questions you have no idea how to answer. How on earth can both of those things be true?
You know, that exact situation happens all the time, and it points to a massive gap for so many leaders. That feeling of confusion, where the numbers just don't seem to make sense, it's a huge red flag. It tells us we need to look beyond a single number, like profit. And it's why building real financial intelligence in an organization isn't some nice to have. It is absolutely essential for leading well.
So here's the big idea. We have to stop thinking of finance as just a department down the hall and start seeing it as a shared language for the whole organization. Look, the goal is not to turn every single manager into an accountant. The goal is to give everyone the ability to understand the story the numbers are telling, so we can all help write a better next chapter, together.
So let's put a pin in what we mean by financial intelligence. It's a shared understanding of how your organization actually works, what really drives the results, and this is the most important part, how every single person contributes to those results. When your team gets this, something really powerful starts to happen. They make better, smarter decisions on their own, trust goes way up because things aren't a secret anymore, and everyone from the front line all the way to the top starts taking a lot more ownership.
Okay, so here's our game plan. We're going to start with the 3 commitments every leader has to make, no exceptions. Then we'll dive into some real-world examples from both business and ministry. After that, I'm going to give you a super practical playbook you can start using this week. And we'll cover the big mistakes to avoid. And finally, we'll wrap it all up with a look at this through the lens of stewardship.
All right, let's get right into it. If you want to build this kind of culture, it has to start with you, the leader. There are 3 core commitments you absolutely have to make. First things first, your support has to be 100% non-negotiable. This can't be some side project you're just trying out. Think about it. If your team even sniffs that you're not fully bought in, they won't engage. But when you treat this as a core part of your culture, as essential as, say, customer service, it sends a powerful signal to everyone that this is how we operate now.
Second, and this one is huge, do not assume that senior people already get this stuff. That assumption is almost always false. A lot of experienced leaders are just too afraid of looking foolish to admit what they don't know. So, the solution? Always include the fundamentals in your training. Things like, what's an income statement, or how does revenue recognition work, which, by the way, is just the official rule for when you can actually count money as earned. And here's a little pro tip. Call it foundational, not basic. That one word change removes the shame and makes it safe for everyone to get on the same page.
And third, you have to create a rhythm of reinforcement. This quote on the screen just says it all. Training is an event. Literacy is a rhythm. A one-and-done workshop is pretty much guaranteed to fail because of what we call program fade. The real key is to keep the conversation going. Talk about the numbers in your weekly meetings. Weave it into the daily and monthly heartbeat of your team.
So what does this actually look like when the rubber meets the road? Let's check out a couple of examples, one from a for-profit business and one from a nonprofit ministry.
I love the transformation you can see here. In the before world, managers see finance as this mysterious black box. They make decisions based on gut feelings, and they see the finance department as the no police. But watch what happens after. You do some foundational training, you start weekly meetings to review just a couple of key numbers, and the whole culture shifts. Managers start connecting their day-to-day decisions to the bottom line and proactively bring ideas to the table. Suddenly, finance isn't the police force, they're a partner.
And you know, the same principles work just as well in a ministry. In the before scenario, the staff is totally sold out on the mission, but the money part is confusing. Budget debates feel really personal, and rumors about the finances can start to spread. The fix? Teach the clear connection between the mission and the cash. A huge win here is just explaining the difference between restricted and unrestricted funds and why that drives certain decisions. When you do that, you replace rumor with reality, and trust just skyrockets. Okay, so that covers the what and the why. Now let's get super practical with the how. This is your leader playbook, with concrete steps you can take whether you have a finance team or you're doing it all yourself. If you don't have a finance team, don't worry, you can totally do this.
First, just pick 2 or 3 numbers that really show the health of your team and look at them together every single week. Second, draw a simple money map for your team, basically a sketch of how money moves in and out. And third, once a month, ask one good assumptions question. Something like, hey, why do we think this number is going up? Or, how are we deciding to depreciate this piece of equipment?
So what is a money map? It's just a simple visual, like you see here. It shows your team the journey of a dollar through your part of the organization. Where does our revenue come from? What are the big costs that eat it up? And what's actually left over? It just makes the whole financial model clear and concrete for everybody.
Now, if you do have a finance team, your role shifts. You're not the creator anymore, you're the collaborator. First, ask for their help, but don't settle for some generic Finance 101. Ask them to help you build a training that actually uses your team's key metrics. Second, it's still on you to create that regular rhythm for talking about the numbers. And third, you have to be the champion for transparency. Be the one who builds that bridge of trust between your team and the finance folks.
All right, as you get started on this, I want to give you a heads up about a few common traps. They're pretty dangerous and can completely derail all your progress, so just being aware of them is half the battle.
We've already talked about the first two, the assumption trap, where you think your experienced people are already experts, and the one-and-done program that everyone forgets about in a month. But this third one, it's the most dangerous, fear-driven secrecy. Some leaders get so scared of being transparent that they either hide the numbers or, even worse, they share fake, safe numbers. Let me be really clear about this. Making up data, even with good intentions, destroys trust instantly, and you might never get it back.
So let's just zoom out for a second and look at the big picture. Why does all of this matter so much? This isn't just about hitting better business metrics. This is about a core principle of leadership. It's about stewardship.
Being financially transparent is a profound act of stewardship. It honors your team by replacing rumors with truth. It protects them from the shock and anxiety that comes from sudden bad news, like that spending freeze we talked about. And frankly, it forces integrity and discipline into every decision you make as a leader. When people really understand the numbers, they can own the mission with clearer eyes and help you carry the load more responsibly.
We have covered a ton of ground, but look, progress doesn't start by doing everything at once. It starts with doing just one thing. So here is your call to action. One simple, powerful step you can take this week.
Just one thing. Before your next team meeting, I want you to identify one key number that really reflects your team's work. It could be anything: customer satisfaction, sales, weekly expenses, whatever. Then, in that meeting, just share that number. Put it up on the screen and start a simple conversation. Ask your team, what does this number tell us? What's the story here? That's it. You've just taken the very first step toward building a financially intelligent team.